Hello all, Alison here. Welcome back to Words and Pictures for a Watercolour Wednesday. I'm having a little play today this is a Moleskine watercolour sketchbook. I have been trying to keep up with the 100-day project, but even doing just 10-minute doodles, I haven't quite managed to keep going. You would think 10 minutes a day would fit in, but life, work, all kinds of things got in the way. But I am going to try to reinstate or keep a daily 10-minute doodle going in the mornings. And so I noticed, because I started out this book with some sort of double page spreads lengthwise, inspired by somebody I saw online. I can't remember now, but these were all done from life years ago, actually. 5 years ago. I note from the date. This is why it's useful to keep a date on things, but it means I didn't use the first piece of watercolor paper here. This is just the inner flap. So yeah, I'm going to do this today, and I am going to try to keep it between 10 and 15 minutes. We'll see. And what I want is just something very loose and sketchy. I think I'm going to borrow my own inspiration. So these are my PaperArtsy poppy stamps, and I'm just going to have them kind of to one side. They were developed from little sketches I'd been doing in sketchbooks, but the stamps have to be a bit more solid. So I'm going to kind of use that as a reminder and just allow myself to be very loose, create some sketchy poppy shapes today, and again keep also the painting very, very loose as well. I just want to get myself back in the habit of some regular playing in the sketchbook. For a while I was being very good. You saw there's, I don't know, 30, maybe 40 little sketchbooks in there. This was another stamp set, of course. The poppy seed heads was a much earlier stamp set. I did poppy seed heads way before I did actual poppies, because I started out, my interest was in seed heads and grasses and all of that sort of thing long before it really hit florals. That's just the way my brain is. But there was something about the twistiness of the poppies that I grew. As they blow in the wind, there's something about the looseness keeping this movement going. I can try to crop this later, but maybe what I'll do is zoom in on what I'm doing here. I was trying to have the whole layout visible and available to you, but let's zoom in, because I can see these are very fine lines with the pen. See, that'll teach me to try to be helpful. I messed up switching on and off the camera. So I have now got multiple sketches, but I mean, you saw what I was doing, keeping the line very loose, free, just trying to catch an impression of poppiness. And I'm going to try and do the same with the paints and keep that also very... I'm trying to do this so that you can see everything that's happening with a zoom, with the camera on, which would help. So I'm just going to pick up some paint. I've already given these a spritz of water. These are my Art to Basic paints. I have since this bought more of them, and you can see I never really got around to doing a proper guide anyway, and I've got more colours I need to add into here. So if that's a process you'd like to see happen as I try to decide which colours are going to go where, then let me know. That's too much red for me. As I said, I want to try and keep things loose, but I also want to like the end result. So I'm going to come with something that is a bit more orangey. So I'm thinking corals and softness, and just letting the paint flow for, yeah, a gentle world of poppy. Oh, I like that red better than that red. That's interesting. That's the third one along. So yes, I do need to properly get my Art to Basic paints in order. So if that's something, as I say, that you would like to see happen, let me know in the comments. and we can try and do that swatching process on camera. And then what I think I also want to do is just let this colour run a little bit, because that's the other thing with the poppies swaying in the wind. There's a freedom to how that colour moves. There are beautiful olives in this set that I think are going to be perfect for just adding to here. Interestingly, the paper is not being very friendly. I've not had a problem before with these Moleskine notebooks. I wonder if the first page has got some sort of sizing on it, a surface. So I'm just gonna pop in some stalks, very fine, keeping it soft, keeping it loose. I might also bring some green through there, I think. Going to pop, I've got a little square of kitchen towel to the side so that I'm managing my levels of water. If I want less water in my mix, I'm picking it up. Might clean this up a little bit because I don't really want those big splodges there. What else do I want? Maybe a little bit of shaping in here with the light olive. I sort of want some green right in the middles here. I don't know if this is dry enough yet to let that happen. I don't really want that green running into all the red, but I quite like the looseness of that, to be honest. Let's maybe do a gentle spatter of poppy colour through the middle. Oh look, it's landed right in the seed head. Do you see how that spread? I might leave that and let that happen. These I want to knock back a little bit because they're a bit too much. No, taking it out of there. Grand. I think we might just do a little colour palette down along the bottom here. So what did I use? I used this light olive. Let's put some of that there. So things are quite wet now. Let's dab off the brush. I used a bit of the dark olive. I used two greens. I used this brighter green. And I used my own green, Summer Leaves, designed for Art to Basic. It's part of their green palette a couple of years ago. And I used various reds. Let's see if I can, reds and corals. Let's see if I can remember which ones. I started with this one and didn't like it very much. I definitely had in some of this coral here. Do I mean the coral or do it? Yeah, no, it is this coral. There it is, I can see it there. And then my favourite, I think, of the three was this one, but in very light washes. So that's just giving me a record of those. Let's make the dark one a bit darker because it is a darker grey. Grand. So I need this to dry a little bit. Again, that's running, so I'm just going to pick those up. I need that to dry a little bit because then what I want to do is add a little more detail, probably with the pen again. I'm quite enjoying that running away, quite enjoying that running away. What I might do is just encourage a bit of this to run away because it just seems mean that the poppy seed heads don't get to run as well. And maybe we'll allow a little bit of greenery, just a kind of impression of leaves. Something like that. Summer Leaves. I named it very deliberately. It's a green for the end of summer. Both summer foliage is meant by that, but also the point when summer is just leaving. Summer hasn't arrived here yet, so we're a bit ahead of schedule. I'm just gonna make some liquidy green so that I can spat a bit of that. There we go. That's more than enough time spent on that. I'm gonna let it dry and then come back and do maybe just a touch of pen work. There we go. So yeah, I do just want to redefine a little bit in there. Redefine a little bit here. I definitely want to create some slightly darker stems because it's such a major thing when you look at a poppy, is that sense of what's going on in the middle with the stamens and the energy of those little stalks and stamens. That's quite good. Let's put a little bit of rounding and shaping on these. Quite like how loose the stems are. Don't think I feel minded to change anything there. And I quite like how loose the petals are. There's a couple of places where the slightly opaqueness, slight opacity of the paints has covered up a line, so I might just reinstate it. And then what I quite like to do is make a note of what I've been using. So this was Art to Basic paints. It was a silver black velvet brush. What is it? Size? It's the size 8 round, I think. And I don't know what the date is. It might be the 5th of May. Is it the 5th of May? The 6th of May? Something like 5th of the 5th, 26. Is it 2026? Help! Poppy Playtime. And the things I'm after are movement and twistiness and a little bit of life. So I hope you've enjoyed that little glimpse into my not quite 100-day project. But as I say, I do want to get back into just something very soft, very loose, very playful on a daily basis. Make it the first thing that happens when I get up, and let that joy move the day in a good direction. If you've enjoyed that, do give me a thumbs up. If you're not already subscribed, it would be lovely to have your company on this creative journey. Comments, questions, always welcome down below. And I will, as always, put in the description what I've been using here, though I may not be able to pick out which paints those are because, as I say, they're not written down. So yeah, also in the comments, let me know if you'd like to see me trying to put my Art to Basic tin together with the other colours that aren't in it yet. Thanks so much for your company. Always a joy to have you with me on this creative journey, and happy crafting all.